We're doing a very suitable replacement race.
Hello, how you going? That's a
Thank
way to
you.
intro it. Yeah, look, honestly, I'm really looking forward to this one. Hard and Fast has built this reputation as a series that is hard and is fast. And well, we're going to Mid-Ohio to the Alt Oval layout, and it's one of the silliest racetracks I've ever seen, but it's surely going to result in some fantastic racing in these rallycross cars. Let's have a look at where it is.
Well, it's in the USA on the East Coast. Eh,
Jay saying that it is in Ohio. If we need help, of course, it is in the name of the track. There is the Mid Ohio Sports Car Course, and we are literally using only that much of it. That is the Alt Oval. It's only 800 meters long. It is 2 right-hand turns and 1 sweeping left across the start-finish line. So it's literally just turning in one direction.
yeah, exactly right. Reason I stopped talking as my broadcast started on the YouTube screen, and I could suddenly hear myself talking, and I had to throw up quickly. So we're back. We're good.
Oof. That's a big self-off right there, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly right. So not long before we get into our qualifying, which is they'll do more laps in qualifying than they'll do in the heats. They've got 8 laps that they can do over the course of 10 minutes, and then 7 lap heats, and then obviously our consolations and our feature event. 23-second lap times is what we're running so far in practice. I'm having a look at the track for the first time. Let's look at the championship as well. That's how the top 10 finished after week 1. Jeremy Clark already got $17 in the what's it saying? The kitty bank? Yeah.
The piggy bank?
Yeah, in the piggy bank. That's right.
Yeah, it's a bit before our time, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's maybe not before your time. So he's on track for a pretty good payout at the end of the season. If things continue with that pace, him and Jordan Prudhomme were pretty fast last time out race.
Yeah, they certainly were, and exactly in the position that they need coming into round 2 of this series. But having said that, there's certain to be quite a few big incidents in this one. It's a much simpler circuit than last round at Barcelona Club, and Jordan Prudhomme himself demonstrating the circuit for us here ever so briefly before we cut away from him. But you see that that turn, the set of S-bends in the middle there, that's actually the original route of the Mid-Ohio circuit. It never used to be a straight run up to the keyhole hairpin. That S-bend was a part of the circuit when it was first built, and now it's being used again here as part of the Alt Oval layout. Literally the only left-hand turn you're making on the entire circuit, and Gavin Sadler in his, I believe that is a Ford Fiesta, certainly demonstrating the circuit very nicely, because these rallycross cars, they do require a very smooth and not very pushy driving style, despite what some might think.
Maybe one of those circuits where you might not want to have the force feedback cranked as high as you normally do if you're one of the people that normally run it pretty high, because that left arm going to get a bit of an uneven workout compared to the right after especially if you go through a heat, a consolation, and the feature. We saw some people have some pretty good runs last week going through the consolations. It's one of the good formats when you run this heat format. Is if you do screw up, you've got a couple chances to still make it, but going to be hard to pass there, I reckon. Even harder than it was last week when, well, the first sector was basically not a passing opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right. And the passing is going to be just as difficult here because there's very short runs between the corners. Really, the only opportunity you have to get past another car here is about where Grant Matterford is coming up to now. This right-hander down here, you get a good run out of the keyhole, you can fire one up the inside here, but everywhere else on the circuit, you've basically just got to hope that the driver in front of you makes an error.
Yeah, which could be very easy. You sell into that corner just a little bit too hard, or you miss the inside. That's going to be all the opportunity the car behind needs to poke their nose up here inside, much like normal oval racing over in the US. Still got 3 or so minutes left before qualifying gets underway. Now, on which server are we on, Reese? Because that could play a part tonight in terms of...
It certainly could. I'm
Looks like we're on Australian servers, so looks like we've managed to load up an Australian server after the iRacing-wide crash, which left everyone scrambling.
Yeah, there was a slight drop of servers just before we were due to go live for this event, but fortunately it's been worked out. Everything is sorted. We also had a couple of technical scares ourselves. Both Jay and myself got blue screens, and Jay's problem seemed like it was almost terminal, but fortunately he managed to get it sorted in time for us to put this on. So only 2.5 minutes left, and Ryan Shooter up on top in that practice session, 23.4 seconds. There's Hugh McLaughlin, who I saw watching the broadcast last week. He got into a nice lead early on in those early hits.
Yeah, McLaughlin showed a little bit of pace last time out. Remember, you do pick up a little bit of money for a heat win as well. So, even performing well in the heat and having a bit of a mishap in the feature means you can still walk away from the night with a little bit of change, maybe enough for the cab home, or from the living room to the bed. That might be about enough for that, but still good to walk away with something, and definitely adds up over the course of the season. Hugh McLaughlin looking to get somewhere up near that front. Only 15th in practice, so might need to go a bit quicker than that if he wants to get there. Big spread across the field, 0.8 of a second, maybe slightly more than I expected for an oval.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of different ways you can take the corners on this circuit, particularly through the keyhole. The downhill hairpin. Jack Boyd here is going to be coming up to this section now. Starts off at the top of the hill, you crest it, and then you just gently go down. No, thanks, Jack. Much appreciated. I would have liked to have that demonstrated, but it's really all about straight lining the exit of the keyhole, and hopefully Jason Markowski can show us how he takes it. It's a very tight entry initially, and then feels like it opens up a little bit. You just got to delay getting on the throttle a little, and then blast your way out of this corner onto the backstretch.
I'm still trying to work out how this all slots into the greater part of the Mid-Ohio circuit. I'm sure we'll get there before the end of the broadcast.
The keyhole is turn 2 on the main track. So what Markowski's coming up to right now, that is turn 2. The pit complex is a bit off to the left of the image at the moment.
I suppose that makes sense. There you go. And into the corner we go. Markowski opting to take a bit of a late apex. That might be one of the overtaking opportunities today, as drivers can take a couple different lines through there. Should look above. There you go. There's Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. You can see most of it is to the right, and then we use the very tip of the iceberg there on the left-hand side of the facility. And you can actually see the oval from above and the little keyhole that forms the right-hand or the one left-hand turn. As qualifying begins, and drivers now have an opportunity to put down 8 laps. They're in 4 groups out there, so they can all see about 6 other drivers. We can see them all, though, so if you make a mistake, we will see you.
Mm-hmm. So beware.
Jay's like that creepy big brother that you never wanted.
Yeah, constantly getting in your face. Well, we'll see what kind of lap times the drivers pull out in the early stages of this session. They only get 8 laps each to set a representative time. They've got 10 minutes in which to do it. Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like a particularly small number until you realize that the track itself is very short, and with the way the start-finish section goes through that airspan, it's actually really important to maintain momentum lap to lap. Otherwise, you end up losing a lot of time, and it just builds up.
Well, for a moment there, Jack Boyd and Adam Neal were tied for first and second. And then we had Gavin Sadler and Ryan Shooter tied for fourth, but they've all sorted themselves out now. And a gap is formed between Jeremy Clark and the field. Just over a 10th and a half as we look at Miles Bond. What can he do? He's on lap number 3 now already in that Toyota Renault. Little Beetle. He's going to go back to pit lane.
Yeah, pulling out of that one. And Cameron Dance slotting himself up into 3rd place for now. And Alex Pirlea is in 4th at the moment in his Subaru Impreza.
You'll feel at home in this car here, Reese Purley. He's a drifter, actually. As his skill of choice out in the real world.
Yeah, certainly. And you can definitely put on some big drifts in these rallycross cars. Definitely not the fastest way to get around a circuit, but it looks cool. And that's the main thing. And that is a nice tribute-ish livery there on William Murray's car, bringing back some of that 90s nostalgia.
Gerlock, he was reasonably fast last week, just didn't quite get the right results that I think he was looking for. He won his heat and did not manage to get into the top 5 for the feature. He puts himself 12th after his 3rd attempt so far in his Worm Paints machine. Adam Cannell going to slide it through the top of the hill. Winning Style Point Awards for this series, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. You can pull off some incredible looking moves in these rallycross cars. They got 600 and something horsepower, 4-wheel drive, turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, and a ton of downforce. They are, in many ways, ultimate racing machines for mixed surface racing. Just noticed Adam Neal going off the track after making a mistake, and he's completed 7 laps of his 8-lap run. So I don't know. I think he might actually only get 1 lap in. Adam's going to have to be careful there. He is on the verge of falling out of the top 10.
He is. Tricky thing with these cars, though, is because of their power, the rear end wants to come around every time you jump on that throttle pedal, which, when you're on the dirt is often pretty helpful, but on the tarmac, you've got to keep it as straight as you can to extract the pace out of it. So that's probably the trickiest factor for drivers to navigate over the course of the season, is that throttle application being as smooth as they can to keep the car straight and get those exits down onto the, relatively short straight. Said all the short tracks are on, but still very important. As Ryan Shooter goes up to 2nd place, just under a 10th away from Clark.
Yeah, and Jeremy Clark on a 23.395. That's the fastest time we've seen so far in this broadcast. And Ryan only 0.06 of a second behind him too. And Hugh McLaughlin out there trying to set some more representative times. How many laps has he completed? This is his second last lap that he is on at the moment. So if he wants to break into the top 10, he's going to have to make this next lap work.
He will. James Ruwalt in 4th. And he's on his final lap. Hugh McLaughlin back in 15th through the inside of the oval, and then on the brakes through the left into the right. Look for the exit. Jay's gone away from that. And James... Oh, he did his lap, that's why. James Ruwalt is right... The finish line's right there. That's why it's sort of a bit confusing.
Right in the middle of the 2 left-handers, and much like last round at Barcelona, there is no specific line on the track to tell you where the line is. So, I mean, at least at Barcelona, you had a visual reference with that concrete strip, but here you got nothing.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a rolling start today for all of our races because of that. We saw last week it was so hard to pass in those first corner or two because you were able to jump away on the inside and clear the outside line very nicely. As Daniel Stevens in 7th at the moment. He's on lap number 7 right now. Now beginning his final lap.
Whoa! Oh, 2-wheeling it over the top of the keyhole. That's not quite the quickest way to go through there, but I think if we were to award style points, Daniel Stevens would get at least a few there. Whoa! Hello. Drifting it all the way through the final corner. I think he's just having fun out there at the moment.
Do I need to point out that it was not a representative lap time?
I don't think you do. I think it's quite obvious there. But Mr. Stevens looks like he is just having a rollicking good time out there in his Beetle, and we're going to get a replay of this thanks to our mates at Modem Simulation. Have a look at that, Ryan. Amazing that he managed to keep it from flipping all the way over.
It actually propped and turned very nicely on those two wheels there. For reference, so that lap was 2 seconds slower. So that's the importance of keeping the car straight. That's how much you can cost yourself, even though there's only 2 corners on the entire circuit, pretty much. John Schultz comes to a rest in 20th. He's going to have his work cut out through the heats and the con-season feature today. 3 minutes left in qualifying, but I think pretty much everyone's completed their lap.
Yeah, just about. John Schultz has another 3 laps left that he can maximize if he so wishes. We'll have to wait and see what his final time is. He currently sits in 20th place, just 3 positions up from dead last on the grid. And if he can find a 10th or so, then it has the potential to put him up all the way into the top 15.
Let's see if he can do it. As he throws it into the bottom of the track. And now up to the finish line he comes. What's it looking for him?
23.8. There we go. He found some time. Let's put him up 2 positions. Now in 18th is Mr. John Schultz.
And abandoning that lap. Still got time to go back out and try again. That's lap 7 of 8.
Yeah, and actually he is going out again. He's going for those single 1-lap dashes as John Schultz, and Kyle Stevens, I think, has gotten rid of any notion of trying to go fast now. He sits in 10th place, but that's good enough for him, I believe, and certainly going to be an interesting place to start from when we get to the heats. So only driver left to really look at is John Schultz. We'll see if he can improve on that 18th place.
Going to try to launch out of here well and get the momentum down the back straight. Pick your braking marker from pretty much nothing heading into this corner. There's no reference points, so to speak of, and then through the inside, trying to keep it glued to the left.
Oh, 23.6.
He committed through there. He didn't worry about gluing it to the left. He kept the throttle pinned, and it ruined his next lap, but there was no next lap to come, so that's all he needs to do. He goes 5th.
That is an excellent run from John Schultz in the dying seconds of the session. We only have 35 seconds left to go, and Jeremy Clark, our pole sitter, just out there kicking out the rear end, showing us what that Volkswagen Beetle can do. Of course, this car brought to iRacing along with the Ford Fiesta as part of the Rallycross content that came out couple of years ago, or a year or two ago, and Scott Speed driving that car in the Global Rallycross Championship in the United States for the time that was running. But it looks like we have a full starting grid there that will then be split up into heat grids.
Yeah, that's how it looks at the end of the qualifying for the VIPclothing.com hard and fast Lord and Diesel Ohio. A go qualifying.
I love it.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean too much, because now they're all going to get divided and shaken up and changed around ready for our heats. We are going to have 4 heats today and 6 cars to each one. There's your starting grid for heat number 1. Clark's got this one. He's got John Schultz next to him, Gavin Sadler, Hugh McLaughlin, Adam Neal, and Adam Cannell.
Very, very small grid, but it's about as much as this circuit can really take. So Jeremy Clark and John Schultz starting on the front row of this one. I'm looking forward to seeing who gets the best launch from this rolling start. Away pulls the iRacing pace car back to old school. It is the Mustang pace car. I've missed this one.
There is a pit entry for it to go, right?
There is. It is the straight between the 2 right-hand turns.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I wonder if this rolling start will mean it's a lot harder for our pole sitter to convert from the grid to the end of lap 1 as the leader. We'll get our answer now. Jeremy Clark, memory serves me right, he struggled off the line in Heat 1 last week. As he backs them up, waits, maybe fakes the start a little bit there.
Ugh.
Waiting a long time. Oh, that's why, because the pace car is still on the track.
It's 2 formation laps around here, probably due to the shortness of the circuit. And I think you could see that the drivers were kind of raring to go there as well. I don't know if they were expecting the second pace lap either.
I'm just riding on board with the safety car right now to see where it actually goes to pit lane.
Yeah, you'll see it go
it's getting
straight
some
on.
tire squeal through the last corner.
Oh, goodness me,
Found
yeah.
it.
He goes hard, doesn't he? But it looks
He
like we're
does.
about to get a start here as the pace car enters pit lane. Jeremy Clark's going to lead him away. We are green.
Good start for Clark. John Schultz, though.
Oh, no.
Already contact with Gavin Sadler. Clark completes it, but they all have to wad up behind. McLaughlin got turned sideways. Gavin Sadler's in the middle of 3. So that's Adam Neal. Oh, that's just messy. That was McLaughlin getting pushed off the track by Neal, who now locks it up. And Adam Cannell's got a route through, maybe.
Oh, very good racing here on the first lap. Hugh McLaughlin on the inside there of Adam Neal, but he's going to be on the outside for the keyhole. Will he be able to get it pivoted around? Wow. Excellent grip there from Hugh McLaughlin, and not quite as much grip there from Adam Neal, and McLaughlin takes the position. Fantastic. But I could see there that that Schultz and Sadler at the start, they just locked together, and once the cars made contact, they couldn't be pulled back apart. Very unfortunate.
And how close is Jeremy Clark to getting clean bowled by them up at turn 1 as well? Good job from Neal, McLaughlin, and everyone else to avoid them as they re-entered the racetrack. They really didn't really have much of a say in that, did they? Schultz and Sadler.
No,
Once
they
they're on that
certainly
grass, there's no real controlling it. Neal's now just struggling to find an opportunity to get back by McLaughlin here.
Yeah, it looks like McLaughlin hasn't quite been able to gap these two guys the way he would have wanted to, and hanging the tail out on exit and getting into the grass as well, which, according to Cam Dance, who was speaking to us before this event kicked off, is actually quite a fast way to get around the circuit if you decide to run wide onto the grass. But don't tell too many of the drivers that.
You just told the whole broadcast.
Yeah, well, the drivers are driving, aren't they? They can't hear me.
6 of them are.
Shush.
The other 15 aren't.
You didn't hear me say anything. You didn't hear me say anything. Hugh McLaughlin.
Cameron Dance was listening, and he just had his secrets thrown out for all to hear. And there goes any advantage he might have had.
I am not sorry.
Nah, I wouldn't be either. It's only Cameron Dance. Jeremy Clark's got 2-second lead now over John Schultz. 3 seconds back to Sadler. 4 back to McLaughlin, Neal. Top 2 will go straight through to the feature. That will be Clark and Schultz if all stays like this.
Yeah, well, it looks like for third place, Gavin Sadler not coming under much of a threat here from McLaughlin pursuing behind. He still hasn't managed to gap Neal and Cannell. But Clark himself holding this quite magnificent lead as he completes the 7th lap, and that is the checkered flag. Jeremy Clark, our first heat winner of the night, and he and John Schultz are going to go straight through into the feature.
Good for Schultz. He went from 18th with 20 seconds left in qualifying to a spot straight in the feature.
He doesn't have to do much more work tonight other than that. So it's Clark, Schultz, and sadly your top 3 with McLaughlin, Neal, and Cannell rounding out your 6-car field. And it's time to get going now for Heat 2. We're right into it.
Yep. Ryan Shooter's got the pole for this one. Alex Purley will start next to him. Dave Roberts and Mia Alt, 3rd and 4th. Danny Albin and Jason Markowski starting from P5 and P6, making up our 3 rows. Now remember, they've got 2 formation laps here behind the iRacing.com Ford Mustang.
We certainly do, and it looks like there is a grand total of 3 Ford Fiestas, 2 Volkswagen Beetles, and 1 Subaru Impreza WRX STI in this field, with Alex Purley, of course, the one in the Subi.
So who's your pick for this one, Reese?
Well, after seeing that Heat 1 start, I'm a bit reticent to try and predict too much about how these races are going to go, but as I've seen, Shooter with his great pace in qualifying, he certainly has the potential to come away with the heat victory here. But Purley starting on the outside, and we know how skilled he is, certainly could be trouble for him.
Yeah, as long as you get that launch, you should be fine. But the issue is, Purley is on the wrong side of the racetrack, so he can actually become vulnerable if he doesn't get the launch from second to guys like Roberts and Albin behind, because on the outside at turn 2, turn 1, depending on how you want to look at it, we haven't got a chance to see how well it actually works today.
Yeah, and another thing with the windy section across the start-finish line is you put the power down in these rallycross cars and you have the potential to understeer straight off if you get it wrong. But we have a green flag now, and it looks like he is well and truly away as Ryan Shooter is coming.
No, he's not.
Oh my goodness me! Ryan Shooter over and onto the tyre barrier. A very ignominious way to start off this heat for him.
And how the seas have parted for Miarot. Goes from fourth to first in the first quarter. And now Albin, going to squeeze his way into second after starting from fifth. Purley still sits in third despite being pancakes up at turn 1.
Oh, and Purley's just made contact there with Danny Albin. Albin's been sent around ever so slightly. It looks like Alex Purley is suffering some technical issues and took Dave Roberts by surprise as well.
Yeah, it certainly did. Reappeared out of nowhere there. Ryan Shooter actually ended up back on all 4 tyres and is just at the back of this train.
Well, hopefully he doesn't have too much damage and he can actually mount a challenge, because you see this battle pack right here in front of him. It is hectic. We've got Markovski leading these guys, and there's Purley, then Roberts, then Albin, and then Ryan Shooter bringing up the rear of all of these guys. And it's just a complete train here at the moment. Markovski running a little bit wide there, giving a slight opportunity to Alex Purley, but not able to capitalize. And of course, protecting the inside into the keyhole. But you see Purley, he's raring to go, isn't he?
Yeah, you can see him jabbing on that throttle, trying to get it turned, and he did. Down the back straight. It's not long enough to clear into the braking zone. He does clear through the corner, though. And now Markowski is going to end up side by side with Roberts, who squeezes on by.
And Ryan
Shooter turning him around.
Oh, that's a shame. Jason Markovski. Yeah, that might be some of the red mist there. And, well, we've just been told by Jay that Shooter is not far off getting a drive-through penalty, as we've seen him go off the circuit.
Points, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got to be very careful as Ryan.
He's on 8. Well, in theory, he should be on 9, because he just went off the racetrack then. Because he's been hit at turn 1, he's been hit. He also made contact with someone else. That's 4 times right there. Miarot, though, out front. Who would have thought? White flag for Miarot in the lead of the race by 2.3 seconds.
Yeah, great run from her. She's managed to avoid the carnage in that first corner and taking very opportune maneuvers to get herself up to the front and almost coming around to lap Jason Markovski, but not going to happen. Mia Ott comes around to take victory.
Yeah, good win there for Stephen Bradbury. Sorry, Mia Ott. And a very stunning effort. Very Bradbury-esque, that win, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Oh. Ryan Shooter just got 10 incidents there on the last lap, so potentially it might be a time penalty for him. He's not going to be too happy with that. It's going to put him dead last if that's the case. But Alex Purley and Dave Roberts complete your top 3. Ott and Purley through to the feature.
You see the full-time gap there. Markowski had a bit of an issue after he got turned around. And, well, you see how that will play out later on this evening. Let's go to Heat 3. Got to give you a commendation as well, Reese, because that was the greatest commentator's curse I've ever heard. It was not 2 seconds after you said, it's been a good start for Shooter, but he was barrel rolling towards the fence.
Yeah, I think I'll have to clip that moment and keep it in a very special place on my hard drive, just to remind me of the evil powers that I can sometimes wield. But it looks like we're through here into Heat 3 with Pruden and Dance on the front row, Stevens and Murray, Bond and Bull taking up the final 4 positions. Now, Cameron Dance and Jordan Pruden, that is quite the front row. But Kyle Stevens as well, one of the organisers of this series, he certainly got some pace under his belt too.
Yeah, this is a very interesting heat we got now. Pruden's very pacey, showed that last week. But Cameron Dance is looking for a much better run after disappointment last time out. And Kyle Stevens, well, in theory, he should have more practice than anyone else because he set up the series. And he knew, first of all, where we were going to be visiting.
Yes, indeed. But never underestimate the adaptability of sim racers, because some of these guys have managed to pull out some very good times that, I've driven around this circuit in a rallycross car once, many moons ago. I don't think I was able to get anywhere close to the kinds of times that these drivers are doing here now. But forming up one final time on the second formation lap. We're going to be getting a start soon, Ryan.
Yep, let's get Heat 3 underway. It's Pruden and Dance, your front row. Blue cars starting 1, 2, and 4 as the green flag comes out. Look at the launch for Dance. Trying to take it away from Pruden into turn 1. There's contact behind. And Dance is holding it very nicely on the outside. Pinches him on the exit. And Dance takes the lead.
That was William Murray and Miles Bond who made contact there into the keyhole. Miles Bond now at the back of the grid with Murray in 4th, but the top 3 well and truly on here. It's Pruden, it's Dance, Pruden, and Stevens, your top 3 at the moment, and Dance almost getting up onto 2 wheels there at the crest of the keyhole. He knows how to push one of these cars.
Yeah, Pruden opted to go on the green flag, it looked like, for the start, and, well, Dance was just able to react quicker when that green flag came out, and that's converted into a nice lead. Haven't seen too much passing outside of the first lap, have we? Proving to be a very difficult pass to actually get overtakes done cleanly.
Yes, indeed. Because this circuit, with the amount of elevation change going through the keyhole and the particular line you got to take through there, plus the meandering nature of the start-finish section, there is not much space to get a car alongside another, so you're already seeing that Cameron Dance is taking that clear air to his advantage. He's managed to extend the gap here over Pruden over the last lap, and Kyle Stevens isn't having much luck keeping up either.
No, and the top 3 have broken away as a result of the melee behind them. Down at turn 1, lap 1, William Murray in 4th, Miles Bond, Ryan Bull 5th and 6th in that order. Bull was 6 seconds off the lead already. Well, as we head on to lap 5 now for Dance. And again up into 2 tyres, and that time it just pushed him a fraction wide. But no issues for him, as the gap actually extends out now to a 2nd.
Yeah, Cameron Dance has had a nice easy time of this, at least it looks like from the outside. We know that it's very hard work to drive one of these cars at speed and gap a driver behind. But Dance doing everything right at the moment in the TechSense FitStyle Motorsport Beetle. Further, everywhere else on track, it looks like everyone is spaced out quite a bit. Miles Bond in 5th, William Murray in 4th, and those are the only other 2 cars on track here at the moment. Actually, I make a mistake there. Ryan Bull is still running in 6th place at the moment. But it's white flag here for our race leader, Cam Dance, and it looks like the gap is exactly where it needs to be, and he can afford to go a little bit sideways out of the final corner. Gives a bit of the... Oh, no! Oh, my goodness. Cameron Dance just lost the win. He lost the win by going for the acrobatics. I mean, he's still in the feature, but... I don't I don't think he planned that.
Hey, Cameron.
Cam.
Hello?
Yeah.
What was that?
Demonstration of how to lose a race.
Very well demonstrated, Cam. I'll definitely put those in my notebook. Jay's bringing up a replay thanks to. Oh, he can't get it. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well, VOD it is then.
Cameron, why is the question?
But either way, I still made it to the feature, so I'm reasonably happy considering it. Well, hey, feature gets more, right?
He's missed out on the prize money. He's banking on the feature, but now his start position's even worse on the feature. Going well and pity over that one, Cameron. Let's head into Heat 4, our final heat. James Ruwalt, Daniel Stevens, Skurlock, Boyd, and Matterford. 5 cars lining up for this one.
All right. So, while our director Jay cacks himself in the background, we move on to the next race of the night. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not over that finish yet. I'm not over it.
I'm amused by it.
Oh, definitely one of the more interesting moments of the week here on SimSpeed TV. In fact, this is pretty much the only broadcast where we were really doing through the week. Of course, we got V8 Scops on Sunday, which is going to be a very interesting event to be sure, going to VIR, but we'll have to wait for a couple of days before the racing action kicks off there. James Ruwalt and Daniel Stevens on the front row of this one.
Quiet week, middle of season 3. As we come to the green, can Ruwalt get the jump? Yes, he can. That's a good start. Daniel Stevens will follow him down into one, and that was Grant Matterford. No, it was Jack Boyd running wide, and they've all switched around again by the exit of the corner, and Skurlock emerges in second.
Yeah, Skurlock keeping it to the inside of the keyhole there. A bit of contact in the background there, yeah. Matterford with an oversteer moment, making a bit of contact with Stevens, who has got a face full of Boyd right here. And Skurlock not that far ahead either. This is giving the advantage to James Ruwalt.
Yeah, Ruwalt running away 1.3 seconds already as he gets towards the end of just the second lap. And Daniel Stevens oversteers into the grass and rejoins pretty much exactly in the tight tracks of what Matterford did a lap earlier. That leaves just 2 battling for the transfer spot, Skurlock and Boyd.
And Michael Skurlock, of course, starting ahead of Jack Boyd, started in 3rd, Boyd in 4th. Starting alongside each other, and looks like Boyd, at least for the first couple of laps, was matching Skurlock for race pace, but now that they've gotten into a bit of a rhythm here as we come up on half race distance, it looks like Skurlock has the advantage here.
He's doing very nicely, isn't he? And again, he's going to benefit from that clean air and the track position that all the drivers are, I guess, benefiting from right now. When they get out and make an early spot, that first lap is going to get more and more frantic as the night goes on, because people are going to realize now how hard it is to pass after lap 1. And when we get into the constellations, drivers are going to be desperately hunting for those first lap spots.
That they will. Start of lap 6. We have 3 to go for these guys. Jack Boyd making those lunges in the braking zones, try and keep up with Skurlock, but Michael is being very patient with the way he's driving his car, barely putting a foot wrong. I've noticed, Boyd and Daniel Stevens as well, making a couple of mistakes and having some slides, but aside from that lap 1 skirmish, I haven't seen much from Michael Skurlock to suggest that he's having trouble controlling his car. What is happening here to James Ruwalt? Is he just trying to make this interesting?
Well, he's lost the lead either way, and now there's 3 cars under a blanket on the final lap. Michael Skurlock gonna win. Boyd second, and Ruwalt, well, he's gonna miss out on the transfer.
What happened and why? That is the second bizarre incident we've seen of a car going for a slide, and it didn't look like Ruwalt was having any troubles there. Either way, he's gonna have to wait for the consolations, isn't he?
He is, which are coming up in just a moment's time. As you look at your results, in the end, it was just 8 tenths covering top 4 cars, which kept it very close indeed. So we got to the end of that one. And now we head into our C main. This will consist of 9 drivers. It's 10 laps long. Top 4 will go through to the B main.
Yes, indeed, and it's Murray and Stevens on the front row, with Neil and Shooter behind them, Bond, Matterford, Cannell, Markowski, and Bull. Your 9 drivers taking the start here that just pulled away behind the pace car. And Daniel Stevens looking for a bit of redemption from the heat just gone. Of course, he did start in second, but very rapidly fell out of a transfer spot position. He's not going to have to worry too much, though, about a slight mistake off the start, because as long as he stays in 4th or above, he will get the transfer spot. But we know that all of these drivers are going to have a red-hot go at this one.
Certainly are. So 9 drivers will go down to 4, and those 4 have to fight their way in to the feature for the B main as well. Ryan Shooter, looking for him to be very fast here, Reese, because obviously he had the pole for his heat, and then we know what happened to him down at turn 1. So, well, he's actually not on the grid, is he?
Yeah,
So
it
he's
looks
missed
like
out.
Yeah, no Ryan Shooter, and well, he actually manually disconnected after the incident in his heat, which is probably the reason why we're not seeing him here. Ryan Shooter actually officially out of the night's running. Bit of a shame, but we're going to get a good race here anyway.
Not saying got to be in it to win it. He's not in it. So, William Murray from the pole, green flag, and bad start. Daniel Stevens will get it away from him down to the turn number 1. And look for Adam Neal getting into him. Neal's going to get turned around and going to be collected by another one down on the apex.
Another spin there. I think that's Markowski there that had a spin at the exit of the keyhole. So a couple of cars coming together here on the first lap in the melee, and already separated out into a couple of distinct groups here. The battle for 4th back is absolutely fire at the moment.
Adam Cannell was the one that got into Adam Neal as he spun down at turn 1, and he came back down across the inside of the racetrack. That's giving Daniel Stevens a good lead over William Murray. Miles Bond and Adam Cannell does have that 4th place spot at the moment, but Manafort is stalking him right now. It's the Ford up against the Subaru at the moment.
Yeah, that it is. Grant Matterford right on the bumper of Adam Cannell here. Looks like they've managed to break away from the drivers that were battling behind them. Cannell going preemptively defensive into the corner. He knows that Ryan Bull is coming. Matterford, sorry. I'm still getting used to this particular grid. Mistakes will happen. But have a look at Matterford. Goes very hard into the keyhole. Tries to straight line the exit, but it seems like Adam Cannell having the advantage on the exit there, going defensive once again to stop Matterford from going for that late dive.
Yeah, as long as he drives it in deep, he'll be fine. But the issue, if he drives it a little bit too deep, and he really hurts his exit, that's when he's going to come under fire. Matterford might actually opt to use the bumper if he gets any closer, because he's right there. He's showing he's got a lot more pace right now than Cannell. And this might be the first time we've seen someone able to execute a move. He shows the nose down into the last corner. Cannell covers.
Easy, boys. Just going off half race distance for these guys right now as they cross the start-finish line. Grant Matterford was going for that real direct route into the keyhole over the last couple of laps, but he seems to have calmed down a little bit and given himself a bit more of an arc to work with through that corner, which might just help him. Meanwhile, battle for 2nd and 3rd. William Murray and the Subaru, and Miles Bond in the Volkswagen. Murray starting from the pole and unfortunately not making the best of starts. So he's going to have to be careful here with Bond coming up on him quite fast.
Whatever Matterford changed a lap or so ago, it's not working. He's starting to fall away.
Yeah, looks like it. Bit of a shame there. Adam Cannell.
And Bond almost got to the inside of Murray there. They took 2 very different lines, but they almost converged on top of each other. As again, Murray sets himself up wide, but Bond throws it in shallow.
Going for the late apex there, you see the many kinds of lines that can be driven around this circuit. Second last lap, and we haven't really checked in with Daniel Stevens since the start. He's managed to pull out almost a 4-second lead now, and he'll be coming round to take the victory sometime in the next 30 seconds. But Bond versus Murray. Oh, goodness me, Murray going wide once again, but tries his best to line it up. White flag for these guys. Who's going to take it?
Oh, there's the over and under for Bond. He's got the inside to get the run out of the exit. Oh, he's almost there.
He's got the
He's
inside.
really shadowing him. He throws it into the final corner. They can't make contact because they're in the transfer at the moment. As Stevens out front wins, and Bond, will he take it? He throws it through the keyhole, and he will take it.
Wow. Excellent stuff there
And
for
that's
Miles Bond.
Where he ended up.
Yeah, quite the way to finish it.
You can really commit on that final lap because you don't have to worry about soloing it up for the next corner.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, now the fun begins briefly for the drivers. A little bit of messing around. There's the results. It's Stevens, Bond, Murray, and Cannell. Your top 4, they go through into the feature. Now it's time for the B main, where the top 7 transfer.
Gavin Sadler will have the pole for this one. Dave Roberts will start alongside him. Kyle Stevens and James Rewalt start from 3rd and 4th. Hugh McLaughlin and Danny Alwyn 5th and 6th. Then Daniel Stevens, Miles Bond, William Murray, and Adam Cannell. Your top 10. You're only 10 for this one.
And this is going to be another 10-lapper. And as we said, the top 7 transfer. So there's definitely reason to take care in the B main, because it doesn't really matter the specifics of where you finish. As long as you're in the top 7, you are getting through. So only 3 drivers ultimately are going to miss out on this. Nonetheless, we've seen quite a bit of carnage on lap 1 all through the night, but I don't expect any different from this one.
No.
Well, it's good to know that we're in agreement.
Yeah. Exactly. Obviously, 10 laps is a long time around this racetrack. Set up a pass if you get through lap 1 cleanly, but still doesn't seem like it's enough time because it's so hard. You know, the braking zones aren't long enough to be able to dive up the inside of someone, and the corners seem to offer themselves up to both lanes equally, so it's very hard to then just power by someone once you take away the inside line. So lap 1 will be as frenetic as ever for our penultimate green flag of the evening for our feature race, which is 19 laps in length. And Gavin Sadler looking for the jump, which the pole sitter has not got every time tonight. Dave Roberts hoping it is the case again. As he starts from 2nd, green flag, away we go. Good start from Sadler, and it's already looking messy behind. Yep, there they go.
Yeah, 2 drivers there. That's Hugh McLaughlin and who is that? Trying to
Danny
scroll
Albin.
through, not letting me. Yeah, Danny Albin there as well in that particular incident. But everyone's
More
together
drama.
here, and oh my goodness, that was Miles Bond. No, not Miles Bond. It was William Murray around in that Subaru, losing the position. He's fallen back into 9th, and even if he passes the driver in front of him, not going to be in the top 7, which is right here. So the top 7 altogether on track, and a bit of side-by-side running up ahead. Could see a move there into one of the penultimate corners.
That was Stevens working the bumper of Ruo, got him sideways, got the overlap, backed out of it down that back straight.
And we just got word from our director, Jay. We can confirm that that Ruwalt lost his heat win earlier because he thought the race was over. The checkered flag had already been flown in his mind. So unfortunate that he's had to work his way up here through into the B main, but he's in a good position right now, and he's well within the transfer window.
Yeah, the top 7, your transfer people are all aligned together. And there's a big gap back to McLaughlin of about 5 seconds from 7th to 8th. So as long as these guys don't run into each other, they should be going through pretty comfortably here. As we hit lap 5 of 10.
Yeah, it looks like Gavin Sadler nice and comfortable there in the lead, and James Ruwalt going for that very straight line exit. But as you can see, it's not quite benefiting him. He's not able to get the run on Dave Roberts that he needs to get up into that second place.
Yeah, he's got the pace. Here we go. He's got a good run, but very little inside loop. Can't keep the car close enough. No, that's a mistake.
Oh, it's not going to help him. Potentially leaving the door open to Kyle Stevens. They both run wide off the circuit. It looks like Stevens had a slightly worse time of it than Ruwalt did. Gavin Sadler, it seems, is not getting away from these guys. They're really harassing the back of him.
Yeah, about as congested as we've seen the field across any of our races tonight, isn't it? As Ruwalt's looking for the over-under and the run, and he gets it. Here we go. Gonna have to throw it into the corner, which he does. Sends it on the brakes. And completes the move as he really gives a burst of the throttle mid-quarter to clear him. And Kyle Stevens wanted to follow him through, but Roberts quickly shut that door.
Yeah, certainly did, but you can see how much time he ended up losing versus Ruwalt when the move was made. There's now about, I'd say that's half a second gap there between Ruwalt and Roberts now, as Kyle Stevens almost gets rear-ended by Miles Bond into the corner. Bond very late on the brakes. You can tell he wants to try and have a go at that fourth place. Yeah, Ruwalt, where has he come from here? Right on the back of Sadler now.
Well, he was winning his heat before he penultimately ended it. Oh, sorry,
is
prematurely ended it. He's gonna have one lap here to get by Sadler. How desperately does he want this B main win? So he really opens himself up for the exit, which he does beautifully. He's found the nuances of this place pretty nicely now, and Sadler's going to keep that door glued shut into one. Ruwalt looking for the exit again, down the back straight.
This is his last opportunity.
Yeah, white flag is out. He's not going to get close enough. So Gavin Sadler out of the final corner under all sorts of pressure, but he will take out the B main win from James Ruwalt in second.
Excellent job there from Gavin Sadler. Faced off against the biggest kind of pressure possible, James Ruwalt. So Dave Roberts holding on for third. That's a very strong drive from him as well. And Kyle Stevens and Miles Bond making up the top five, but there was certainly quite a few unlucky drivers there. McLaughlin, Murray, and Albin, unfortunately, will not be joining us in this upcoming feature.
But there will be 15 drivers in this feature. 19 laps to get to the front. Jeremy Clark's got the pole. Mia Ott will start alongside. That's not how they're lining up. There you go.
Hey.
Jordan Pruder and Michael Skurlock on road 2. John Schultz and Alex Purley, 5th and 6th. Cameron Dance and Jack Boyd from 7th and 8th. Gavin Sadler and James Ruwalt on row 5.
Yeah, it's going to be Dave Roberts, Carl Stevens, Miles Bond, Daniel Stevens, and Adam Cannell rounding out your field here. Wow, I don't think I've seen this many cars on this track at once. I'm certainly looking forward to how the drivers manage to cope here. 19 laps around a place like this. It's going to go in an absolute flash. They are moving away now on the formation lap. Formation laps, plural.
Now, this is probably the most critical start of the day, because even though it's 19 laps, the only person we've seen actually make an overtake so far is Ruwalt. So if Clark loses the lead, he might be under a bit of pressure. Ruwalt is starting from 10th, so he's going to have to do a lot of overtaking if he wants to get there.
Yeah, certainly will. Another thing that the drivers are going to have to deal with here is traffic too. On a track as short as this, only 23, 24 seconds long, when you're at the back of the grid and you're not keeping up the pace, the leaders are going to come up on you very, very quickly, and that could cause some dramas.
We'll come to the green this time by then, and Jeremy Clark will hope that he gets the launch that a few people today have struggled to get. Mia Ott hoping that Seas can part once again. Maybe she can convert that heat win into a feature win. And what about the guys behind? Coming to the green. And
Clark
good
goes
start
early.
from Clark. He does go early. And that gives him a good advantage down to turn 1. Can they all get through cleanly? Yes.
Amazing. Well, we've got another braking zone coming up here, and there's potential for big dramas. Clark cannot make it through fine, and Michael Skurlock barrels into it and runs wide off the circuit. Big jostling in the pack as Cameron Dance actually leaving the circuit in his fight with Jack Boyd here, side by side across the start-finish line. Dance is going to have the inside for the keyhole, but Boyd trying to maintain the momentum around the outside. They bang doors repeatedly here. This is great racing for this for these top 6, top 5 positions.
It's fantastic, and Boyd now coming under pressure from Gavin Sadler and James Ruwalt, who are side by side. It's the overtake that Ruwalt was never able to make in the B main. Now he's going to do it in the feature with a bit of contact, which opens the door for Carl Stevens.
Oh!
And Ruwalt hangs onto it.
Oh, very well held from James Ruwalt there. So that moves him up into, I believe, position 7, or position 8, my apologies. And Mia Ott under big trouble here from Jordan Pruden. Have a look at this. Pushing her wide. Yep, bumping her out of the way and trying to go for the inside move down the straight. Oh, cuts across him there. Oh, how do you like that for a return serve? But he goes through anyway. Bit more contact, and it looks like Purley is getting in on this as well. Oh, too wide across the start-finish line once again. Goodness me,
Purley. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, big crash there. And that's going to take out John Schultz as well, potentially. Manages to get back onto the circuit. That's a big shame, though.
How did that put Cameron Dance in third?
Very good question. It is one that I cannot answer.
I think about 3 drivers found themselves out after Purley and Ott came into contact. It was just a case of the wheels touching, which sent Purley around, which tagged Ott, and then everyone else tried to spin in sympathy, and Dance slipped through the middle as everyone is getting the fenders out. 3 wide is not going to work. And, off the racetrack went Purley again.
Yes, Purley unfortunately got a bit shafted there. Stevens made contact with him coming out of the keyhole, and Gavin Sadler tapped around there, and that's a big incident. Miles Bond ultimately responsible for that. More contact between Alex Purley and Dave Roberts as they come down the back straight. Yeah, very good question. I think Alex Purley might be in a bit of trouble here. Dave Roberts spun by Daniel Stevens and spun in the vertical as well on his side. I think we'll say goodbye to him.
More side by side as Skurlock and Stevens. Daniel Stevens on the inside gets that one done. Meanwhile, down into the last corner, John Schultz is getting a workover on the back end from Ruwalt. And Mia Ott is back there as well. It seems like her aggression level spiked a few laps ago in amongst all that chaos, and is now a bit more calm and sedated in here in 7th place.
Yes, indeed. Well, she's got a fair way to go, I think, before she can break back into this top 5. I mean, she does have the inside line here versus James Ruwalt, and Ruwalt dealing with John Schultz there up ahead. These 3 Ford Fiestas fighting it out. It's going to be 4 soon if Kyle Stevens can keep up the pace here behind them. Can Ott force Ruwalt wide? Ruwalt trying his best to find any space on the racetrack.
Writing out a whole damn novel in Morse code on the back of Schultz's car. And now to the side of it, he puts the full stop.
I'd call that burning the book, basically. Gives the position back, though. John Schultz, meanwhile, gets up in front of them. It looks like Dave Roberts making his way back out onto the circuit, so not a retirement for him, but goodness me, Kyle Stevens right in the midst of all of this. Can he get the move done here?
Well, no. Yeah, pull the handbrake, you'll be fine.
Oh, goodness me. Righto. That was quite the interesting...
Bond getting hit by Purley, which resulted in Bond hitting Stevens, and they're 3 wide through 1. That's not going to work.
Okay, so Miles Bond Yeah, looks like it did. Barging his way past Daniel Stevens. Past Carl Stevens, sorry. More Morse code here from Carl Stevens on Bond. And Mr. Purley waiting in the wings there right behind them. Stevens manages to clear both of them. Another one-lap adventure. Have a look there at Alex Purley. As we go on board with him, you'll be able to see just how hard he's pushing here. Tries to move towards the inside there on Miles Bond, and you see his steering inputs. Got to be as smooth as possible in these rallycross cars, but man, one little mistake and you are sent sliding all the way through a corner. Have a look at how much he gains on the brakes.
Yeah, doing a good job. Meanwhile, our race leader's got a 2.3 second lead. That's Jeremy Clark over Jordan Pruden. Cameron Dance in third, pretty close to Pruden. Might yet get himself up into second, and I wonder how much he's regretting that mistake in the heat, because it cost him some very valuable track position for this feature.
Yeah, certainly did. Also probably cost him a bit of money as well, as goodness me. That is Purley getting tapped wide there by Bond, and move completed, though probably not in the way Purley would have liked. He's going to try and return it up here. Goes up the inside, pushes very hard into the mid-corner, and he gets the inside line and gets the move back. Excellent stuff.
Good move from Alex Purley. Next victim for him up the road is Kyle Stevens, but got a fair chunk of time to pull if he wants to make that one work. As we look again at Pruden and Dance, as behind them, Bond has been left compromised, and sneaking by is Daniel Stevens, and gets it done, and then gets a hit for his troubles, and Jay's not going there because, well, I don't think he's listening.
Well, Pruden and Dance just making contact there, and it looks like Pruden forced wide by Dance, and he is through now, but they're going to be side by side across the start-finish line.
Again.
Pruden is going to keep the position there. Dance actually pulling out of that. Oh, and that's probably the reason why.
Well, Dance is being a bit too gentlemanly at the moment, isn't he? He could have given a little bit of a tap to Pruden, and it would have opened up the door for him down at 1, but opted not to.
I mean, considering some of the driving we've seen here tonight, it certainly wouldn't be out of place, but looks like Cameron Dance is willing to try and take it as legit as possible. It is the last lap. Meanwhile, white flag has flown for our race leader, and second is still yet to be decided. Can Dance throw it up the inside here versus Pruden? Pruden goes defensive, and
Too deep.
Way too deep. Dance takes second, is up ahead. Jeremy Clark takes the win.
Cameron Dance will take second place from Pruden, who lost it at the last corner. Boyd in fourth, Rualt fifth.
Almost still on for sixth, and have a look at that battle pack for 10th. Daniel Stevens trying his best there to get up into 8th position, but nothing doing for him there. But big celebrations here for Jeremy Clark. I think it was an absolutely impeccable drive from him right from the get-go. He timed the start perfectly. He kept the lead. He didn't suffer any trouble like what we saw with other drivers here tonight.
Yeah, track position in the end was more crucial than perhaps many might have anticipated heading into this evening, and out front, he's able to stay clear of the absolute calamity that was that feature race. And here's your full results then. From the feature, Jeremy Clark winning in the end by a margin of 2.8 seconds over Cameron Dance. Jordan Pruden just misses out, comes home third, had Jack Boyd and Rewalt. Mia Ott home in sixth, John Schultz in seventh, Alex Purley, Daniel Stevens and Miles Bond made up your top 10.
In 11th place, finished Adam Cannell after starting dead last. Michael Skurlock and Daniel Stevens, Michael Skurlock and Carl Stevens, sorry, in 12th and 13th, with Roberts and Sadler. Sadler our only retirement, and Roberts being classified but 5 laps down. Big shame for Sadler there, because he certainly had the pace to pull it off.
He did. Jeremy Clark, welcome to the booth here on SimSpeed TV. And that is 2 wins on the trot. Good start for you for the season.
Yeah, cheers guys. How you going? Yeah, it was a little bit boring to be honest. I sort of just started and away I went and didn't see anyone else for the rest of the races. I was looking at Jordan back there in the last one. I was like, oh mate, I should just lift off a bit, get involved in the action. But nah, can't complain. Good fun. Well,
did you have any sort of a notion of the absolute chaos that was unfolding behind you in that feature race?
Oh, I could only see Jordan and Cameron and me earlier on behind me, but no, I didn't really know what was happening. I could just see them sort of going too wide and getting involved in little incidents and things like that. But no, I just saw the gap keep getting bigger, and I just kept on going.
Track position again was really crucial today, more so even than Barcelona. Looking like it may be a bit of a theme on these shorter racetracks, so I think maybe a lot of emphasis needs to get put on qualifying, even more so moving forward. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I was just saying before to the boys that you just can't pass here at all. The only way to pass it is just send it on someone, and you're probably going to spin them. So I was actually in practice before the race when pace wasn't that great, and just made a few setup tweaks before the quali, and just happened to do a ridiculous lap that I haven't done in any practice sessions. So yeah, lucky I got away with that one and started from the start, and that's the key, I think.
It certainly is. Next week we head to Barb Up, the B short version, which is, I don't really know. It's the middle section of the full circuit, as described to me. You driven it before?
Nah, never driven it. Don't even know if I own it. So I'll have to put a bit of work in there in the lead up.
Yeah, you get practicing on that one. Hey, who do you want to thank though when you get it done today?
Oh, I just thank all the boys at Riot Sim Racing. Been a good little series for us so far with Riot P1 and 2 in most of the sessions, and then Jordan coming in today in third. So it's just good to get the team out there, and good to get our sponsors Simfinity and Apex Imagery out there on the broadcast. So thanks for that.
Certainly is. Congratulations on another good win today.
Thanks, boys.
That was Jordan Pruden. So it wasn't Jeremy Clark coming home as your race winner, and now Jordan Pruden gonna have a chat to Reese Gardner.
Certainly is. Welcome to the commentary box, Jordan. Congratulations on third. It was quite the battle, though, between yourself and Cameron Dance, ultimately losing out at the line, but it looked like it was quite the intense fight.
Yeah, thanks, boys. That was great fun. I remember back in the heat race seeing him drifting, stuff like that, so I thought I'd send it on him just to get that win in the heat race, and then all of a sudden I knew he was going to send one back to me, and he gave me a couple of wee little punts as well, which is absolutely brilliant. And I ended up making the mistake on the last corner just from locking the brake too often, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seemed like that was a big issue in the final sector of this circuit. The running wide in the final right-hander. Is it just a case of the tires working incredibly hard? Because obviously these cars have loads of power and it's going through all four wheels. So you've really got to look after the tires and the longer features.
It's something you don't really practice, I guess. You're more looking at that qualifying lap time to get up the front of the field. But I think with the way these pitch, the right rear comes off the ground, and that can create some havoc on the left front. And I think it does end up just creating a lot more wear on that left front, which you end up locking quite consistently because there's basically only two left-handers. So, and they're not very wary on the front right either. So, yeah, the camber and everything is really important to set up, which we had no idea about. So I think that's why it was causing a bit of concern for me.
Nonetheless, another great result for you in this feature, third, and of course a win in your heat as well. It's definitely going to help you in terms of the drivers' standings. You were second coming out of round one, and you should remain second now.
Cheers, guys. It's my teammate now. I've just got to try and get past, and hopefully we can do that in the next one.
Well, before we let you go, Jordan, anyone that you'd like to thank? Any shout-outs or sponsors?
Shout out to Riot Sim boys. They're fantastic. A great bunch of lads that we get on really well with, and we all have great camaraderie and support each other. So it's pretty unbelievable, really, and a perfect little team that we're in.
That's Jordan Pruden there, your third place finisher. And final driver interview of the night, Ryan, is our second place, Cam Dance.
Yeah, forced me into that one. Cameron Dance, welcome to the booth again. P2 in the end. Good recovery from a suboptimal finish to the heat.
It certainly was, considering it was a little bit awkward of a finish to the heat. But yeah, that was really strange how I actually surprised myself by having as much pace as I did in that heat, and I was even catching Jeremy throughout the race as well, and consistently quicker, which was quite fascinating. So, yeah, no, can't complain with that at all, despite the fact that it possibly could have been a win. But second's better than seventh at the end of the day.
Track position was so key today, wasn't it? Very hard to make the move stick, and it's just a case of, I think, pressure working out for you over Prudent at the end.
It was a little bit, and like you said, track position was quite hard to make up. I mean, we're all single file for majority of the race, and you really could only pass people if you either threw a dive bomb or tried to make a move up the inside with a good enough run out of the first corner. So, yeah, difficult, but hey, it's one of those things, and if you've got to find a way to pass at the end of the day if you can't. So it's just one of those things about these cars in this track.
How much preparation are you putting in for next week at Barber?
Don't know. Probably as minimal as possible. Probably do like a few laps before the session goes up, like I did today. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the pace we showed tonight was really quite good. So if it's anything to go by, we should be all right for Barber.
All right. Well, who do you want to thank for helping you get a podium today?
Yeah, just like to thank obviously the guys at Fitstyle Motorsport, TechSense Sensors, Renfell Harnesses, Demon Tweaks, Fight Collective Cancel. You guys for putting on some broadcast, Carl for putting on an awesome series, and my cat for being an awesome co-driver.
Meow.
Hey, thank you for joining us. Cameron Dance, and congratulations once again. So, Reese, final thoughts on this one before we wrap this one up?
That was bizarre. I have really not much more to say other than that was bizarre. This is my first time calling a race in this series, and I've decided I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait for future rounds. Bring on Barber next week. I can't wait to see who takes the victory there.
It was your first round, and it will be your last. I'm kidding.
Well, thanks.
It was better than last week. Anyway, we had Jay. Ugh. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Remember to go check out flipclothing.com to see some of their range and what you can get done for you. Check out Hard and Fast on Facebook as well, driversclub.net.au and SimSpeed Esports Network. Make sure you hit subscribe to SimSpeed TV on YouTube to stay up to date with all of our broadcasts across the week. Straight back into the swing of it next week. But on Sunday, we do have another broadcast this week. It is V8 Scops. It is the big one. Make sure you tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern time for that one from Virginia International Raceway. But for tonight, from myself, Ryan Jones, Jay Kennedy, a little behind the scenes, and Reese Gardner alongside. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside. Both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh, my God. Oh, big crash. Oh, my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
This is very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go. Oh, no.
That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh, my God.